All right, ho, 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 and Merry Christmas Eve. Welcome to another episode of Keto Rocks Radio. I'm Jim Hobbs, and to my left or right is my carnivore co-host or carnivore elf this evening, Brian Damage Forsythe from the band Kix and Rhino Bucket. And so Merry Christmas Eve to everyone, first of all. And then we're bringing back to the show someone that you guys really loved when we had her on last time. We're bringing on Carrie Husband from Oregon,
Nice
all the way on the other end of the coast. And this time she's well.
Yes, I am. Thank goodness.
So we're gonna get 100% of her. I thought we had 100% of her last time, but she said she wasn't all firing. But so I can't imagine what's going to come out of her today to share with us. But we have no topic scheduled to talk about. I had kind of sent an outline to talk about like a mystical Christmas, but as I laid in meditating this morning, I was thinking about what really Christmas is about and what it isn't. And what kept coming to me over and over again was the true gift of giving. And a gift is truly something that you give with absolutely no expectations of it returning back to you, except what you have invested in when you do it that particular way is you're storing up treasure that does not rust and does not fade away. And so I was reading, flying back from Nashville this week on the plane, I was touched by some very inspirational stories that circulate during this time of year. And I'll kind of touch base on those later on. I don't start the show off with me just crying, because I'm a crier. So if I read a story that just fills my heart with joy, it'll just be water faucets. And so I'm not ready to just flood the episode with my rainwater yet. So, but anyway, I thought we'd go around and kind of talk about what does Christmas mean to each one of us, and go from there. Like, if you have some traditions, what do you like to eat? But what is the meaning of Christmas for you, Carrie? Then we'll go to Brian.
Well, my thoughts about Christmas are a lot different than they used to be. And so I'll tell you a little bit of my story here. And I may have some tears before you do today, just to let you know.
Okay, prime the pump.
I don't mind starting it off just because that's usually who I am. And when I do interviews with people, the faucet works are right there. Just to let you know, my husband and I, in our background, we went through the Hebrew Roots movement, and we came out of evangelical kind of background with Christianity, and Christmas was a very, very big deal for our whole family.
Carrie?
It was a wonderful time as childhood memories. And so what ended up happening is that when my husband and I got into the Hebrew Roots movement, I understand now that the comparisons were important. I needed to see the difference between what Christianity had been offering, what I had been involved in most of my life, and then see the other side of it, to be able to bring it harmoniously together within. But what happened when I went down that trail, and this is where I might get some tears, Christmas was considered very pagan. And anything of pagan culture of any sorts was frowned upon highly. And so all of my earthly Christmas treasures, all of my decorations, I mean, I had years worth of, buying decorations and things that were just like my little treasures, I got rid of. I like literally sold all of it. And then I got into this place where the holiday season for me was not full of joy. It was great remorse, because I had been indoctrinated at that point to believe that everybody that was celebrating Christmas was not doing it in the Creator's heart desire. Like, it was the exact opposite. And so I would go around, and it would be very difficult for me. I would see the bell ringers outside the shops, or if I was going into the stores and people would wish me Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. For me, I saw it as very pagan. And I lived that way for a decade. And that was the darkest time of my life. So I find it very interesting that this time of year, which is literally the darkest time of the year, that I am coming full circle to be able to celebrate it with a heart that is full wide open of this beautiful story of even the Christ anointing that is being manifest through us. That this beautiful heart connection of us connecting to one another, that this is what this is what this time of the year is all about. And the other day I was at my other job. I only work 2 days a week. The rest of the time, 70 hours a week, I do this with my YouTube channel and sharing with people the sacred languages. And I was just pondering, and I was looking at the lights. I was looking at gifts. I was looking at the beautiful trees. And there was this sense of longing back in my heart because the journey I went cut me off from my family. And I began to bring back all of those Christmas memories and the joy and the experience and the love of family. And I went, wow, I'm coming full circle again. It felt like I literally was coming home. Like this illumination that has happened within inside of me has allowed me to come full circle and be able to look at this time with wonderment, with beauty, with the story of the analogy of the birth of the Christ. You know, the sun going below the horizon for 3 days of darkness, and then it is rebirthed again as this beautiful light shines upon us, in us, and through us, as us. And I'm telling you, it really moved me. So, you know, for you to ask this, it's like this is a very heartfelt subject for me right now. It's a little raw because I'm coming back around, and my heart is like, well, I really feel like I need to go and make amends to my family. I don't know how that is going to come about because I, in my very judgmental state, in trying to do what I thought was right, I alienated myself from my family. And so for a decade, this time hasn't been joyous, but it's different this year. So as phone calls began to be made, my heart's desire is that some restoration will occur. And I don't mind being transparent about this because it's part of my journey and it's made me who I am today. And I can see it in its beautiful essence and the heartfelt desires of joining. And so my gift would be the restoration of my family. That's what my gift would be. And then there's no price on that. That's priceless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful.
But
Thank you. Go ahead.
having to say that, that is what got me into the language. So I see the purpose in all of it. You know, I'm just, the tears aren't so much as a sadness issue as it's the joy of coming back home. And I have the sacred languages that I can have, that I took with me. So it was definitely purpose. And so these are not such mournful tears as they are tears of joy and getting to move forward in this beautiful day.
Yeah, I can't help but think that I sent you. I don't think I sent it to Brian, so I apologize to Brian, but I sent you. I had just went on Google and typed in the Mystic Christmas story, and I sent you that PDF that I sent. And Brian probably can relate to this and is probably more aware of it than I was until I read this. But one of the things that just kind of put together what you just shared, Carrie, was the fact that it says here, this is AA has taught me that I will have peace of mind in the exact proportion to the peace of mind I bring into the lives of other people. And it has taught me through the true meaning of the admonition, happy are you who know these things and do them. For the only problems I have now are those I create when I break out in a rash of self-will. And when we become the judge, as I become the judge because we think that's what we're supposed to do, to guard, to protect, to set up our boundaries and protect those from the ones that we have forgotten that we are all part of. You know, we are in that dark place. And so I celebrate you sharing that you're coming out back into the light. And, you know, so, you know, I look forward to hearing the restoration stories that you're going to have to share this season. So I think it's a beautiful journey that you're on. And I think it's one that people who are watching this probably can relate to, because some of the most stressful times in families is during Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially Christmas. And then you add, you know, the pandemic that's going on the last 2 seasons. You know, one of the things that Peggy and I was talking about just earlier today was when we flew out of Nashville and flew into the DCA and Washington, and driving home was we weren't seeing as many Christmas decorations or houses decorated as much as we have seen in the past. And also we used to receive a ton of Christmas cards. We've hardly received any this year. I think people are in a new season, and whatever that season is, I'm just saying, it's different. I think people probably are getting to what's really important as opposed to the outward showing of what the commercial Christmas would have you believe. I think people are beginning to understand the precious things that money can't buy. And so I just think it's a different season that the world's in. And I think it's kind of beautiful where we are. We're appreciating the gifts. I know Brian, I saw someone post on the Kix page or Kix fan page about Jimmy, like for Jimmy coming back and being healthier than he was last year after having a heart attack and coming back. What a blessing and a gift it is to see him behind those drums again, to do your annual Kixmas show, and to see him doing so much better. The gift of health is a true celebration that, we take it for granted, but that's the true gift. Those type of blessings to be looked at as the true gift is just amazing. And I'll share a story here in a second, but I'm going to let Brian share whatever is on his heart this morning. I don't mean to put him on the spot, but I'm going to.
Yeah, the whole Christmas thing, I'm like the wrong person to ask. Because I actually see it as sort of like this, just a big marketing ploy for big corporations to sell stuff. And, but the whole spiritual part of it, I do that. I try to practice that on a daily basis. But the giving part and all that, and that's an important part. I know that, and it is a a daily process. I have to keep reminding myself of everything, and all these things. Like when I'm helping another person, I'm not thinking about myself, and that's when I feel the best. And I forget that. It's just like anything. When I exercise, I feel great, but I hate it when I'm going into it. I resist it. I resist everything that's good for me, and I have to remind myself every day. Like my body, it's like you're talking about health. I think that is, I abused myself for years, and that was just me taking for granted life. And I have to look at it as a gift that was given to me. This body was given to me, and for me to abuse it is just, it's not being grateful. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I can relate it to Christmas somehow, but I just, for me, it's just, it's an everyday thing. So.
Well said, Brian. I know Carrie can totally relate to that, the sharing of your heart. And every day is Christmas. I think that's the we as a society or as a world could realize that we all come from one light, and just because we're seeing a different facet of that light, we're not to judge that light. And you said something very, very dear to my heart, Brian, is the fact that every breath we take, every breath we're given from the Creator. And then one of the things that during this time of year, and I'm not judging anyone, I'm just merely pointing out and asking questions, but the religion aspect of what Christmas has become has almost, you're celebrating something to prevent you from going to hell. You're celebrating something that scares you into accepting, so you're not going to burn eternally in the lake of fire. when the reality of it is that that gift is something that nobody can take away from you except you. So once you realize that the gift is every breath you take, and you have the divinity or the divine spirit within to be able to utilize that breath to serve your fellow man and women, your brothers and sisters, to serve the world instead of having the world serve you. And once you do that, you do wake up every day. You do take every breath with a grateful heart. And it's no longer about what can I receive, but what can I do? You know, an awareness when people are hurting, how can I come alongside them and help them? And as long as you live out that life with a grateful heart, and you're using every breath to bring unity, it's going to be a beautiful life that's going to be woven. And you know, when we make it about who's got the biggest tree, who has the most decorated house, you know, like the Griswolds, My Christmas Vacation, you know, one of the things that my partner on the Gospel Ranger side, Steve, and I used to talk about on a show was, you know, even as parents, and I'm not criticizing parents because I'm guilty of it with all three of our children, but we want people to trust their parents, their mother and father. But because we've been programmed by two different sources, we literally lie to our children that this mystical figure is going to come down the chimney and leave you gifts. So make a wish list. And so as soon as you start putting that on, you're totally programming them with the wrong program. You're making about, what can I get from this event? What can I get from this day? And, you know, sit up on this lap of this guy in a red suit and tell him what I want. And then this is the problem. And this is, you know, when kids get about the age 8, 9, they kind of realize that their parents were Santa Claus and they've been lied to by the people who they've trusted. And the damage that's put upon that child starts to open up. Well, what else are they lying to me about? So you literally have them start looking at everything that they have told you, you know, the tooth fairy, the Easter bunny, and you start, and then when they get to their adolescent ages, teenage years, and they're trying to help you get through those difficult times, whether it's, you know, alcohol, drugs, sex, they believe that you're just telling them one more story to prevent them from doing what they have the natural urge to go do. And we literally lose the trust. And so just like you, Carrie, and you, Brian, my my outlook on Christmas is totally done a 180. But you know, but even during those times that I was living that lie, you know, in my heart, like you, Carrie, it was a joy of being with my family members and celebrating those moments of opening those gifts. It was the togetherness of our family and getting together during that and kind of putting everything else to the side, you know, no matter what the stresses of the world, just being able to take a breath with your family members and then, you know, break bread together, share a gift. Those are beautiful things. And it's, you know, I probably have none of those gifts that I received from back then, but the memory and the joy I still carry in my heart.
If I could, I would love to share something to
Please.
bring forward what you were sharing about
Please.
the breath and the gift. There's a Aramaic word for God, which I think is a much better description than just our English word. It's very sterile. It doesn't invite you in to be a part of it. It like literally sets you apart from it. It's like there's God and you are not, that kind of thing. That's what I was raised with. But the Aramaic word for God is Allah. And Allah is a beautiful, beautiful word because it brings breath into it. Consider the breath. One is breathing in, that would be the aleph, and the hey is the exhale. So when you look at Allah, it's spelled aleph lamed hey aleph. What's so beautiful about this is the Aleph is a representation of what we believe as God. It is the all of everything. It is the substance of the unseen that is in and through everything and everyone. It is the essence of the being of who we are that gives us life. We connect it to the word oreta, which is literally, it's the law of light. It's where we get aura from. But oreta is those who have light within them that have made the covenant within their heart to be one with the spirit breath. They had no way of being able to explain what spirit is. So we've coined this term. We've made this word spirit through theology, because theology really means making up words for religious concepts. It does. I looked at the etymology. I'm like, oh my gosh. So they use this word spirit when it really is about the breath. This is what we know gives us life. This is what is in and through everything that moves us. And so Allah is when we breathe in and when we exhale, we are breathing the life of light, of that which is in everything. And in the middle of the word, this is so beautiful. So you've got an aleph on the front and an aleph on the back. And this is the divine presence of the masculine and the feminine divine energies that are one. They flank it. You could say mother, father, Abba, Ima. They flank both sides of it, bringing you breath. And you think about how life was created, bringing you breath. On the inside is the Lamed Hey. The Lamed is a letter that means instruction. It means authority. It is directly connected to light, which is what brings us the ability to be illuminated. It's a bummer my internet connection is unstable, so I apologize. But it's the staff of authority that your heart is. And then right after that is the hay. So through the spirit breath of the inhale and the exhale of everything that is the essence of the unseen, you are teaching and shepherding your own heart as this revelation is being brought to you through every breath. That is why meditation, that's why the Wim Hof method and everything is so deeply profound, because literally when you meditate, when you focus on your breathing, you are bringing more of spirit, the essence of the unseen in you, where you begin to feel it. Now, it's not like breathing, like breath on your skin, right? That's not what we're talking about, because when you breathe on yourself, because it is connected to breath. It's the essence of what you feel in here. So the joy or things that you don't have words for. So Allah, the word for God, is all of that which is in here that we connect to. So this time of year, so even your thought of the mystical Christmas, as we come in and we realize and recognize the light that has come, because we are that light. We are the light of the world. That through our spirit breath, through the essence of just our being, when we connect to our heart and we can reveal that to other people through a very strong heartfelt connection with family and with friends, with nature, and not with corporate Christmas, that is the gift that we can bring to everyone. Just simply by being, just simply by breathing, the essence of who you are, inhale and exhale as the light of the world in the darkest time of the year, that we would let our light shine. And that's from right here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think that what you are describing, hopefully that resonates with the people who are watching this. And I know if you're watching this, you're like,
I hope so.
What does this have to do with Keto Rocks? Well, this has to do with everything about the spiritual. This is a spiritual food. And whether you are making the decision to how to celebrate Christmas, or making the decision to serve others, or making the decision to appreciate the gift of breath for your own self, you have the chance to make a decision every day of what foods am I going to eat and how am I going to treat others. And both of those you control. And there's no other excuses when you want to. I didn't get what I wanted for Christmas, and I told that Santa Claus what I wanted, and I didn't get it, or I told my parents what I wanted, or my friends, whatever. When we focus on what we didn't get, and do not celebrate what we always had and will always have, we are so lost in that darkness. And, nobody's going to be able to get you back except for yourself. And so it's not until, in my opinion, for me, it wasn't until I got alone and started to look within, and then realizing that I had everything that I always wanted within me. And then my outlook on life totally changed. Nothing was about the exterior, other than seeing the beauty that was within my heart when I had an encounter with anybody. So it was just, it's to me, it's a great reminder, because everybody's is doing what Brian does on a daily basis, and you too, Carrie, and myself. But people are just in a good mood normally during this time of year. There are people who are also very stressed out, and that breaks my heart that people are having tough times to go through. But as you heard Carrie share right out of the gate, even you're going to look back even on those times and realize you were growing, and you were going from one degree of glory to another, even though it did not feel like it when you were in that moment. And you'll appreciate those moments that you did not appreciate when you were going through them. At least that's been my experience.
They're all catalysts. Without catalysts, you cannot have change. It's a necessary adversarial component to our life here. You can take a look at it as adversarial friend, truly, because as they come in and it's really that lament I was talking about. It's like the staff of authority that goads and pricks and urges you on in the place of infirmity, whatever that looks like for you, because it's goading you and urging you on to draw you inward, because all the answers that we're ever going to find is right here. I can't even begin to tell you all the years that I was searching in books, YouTube channels, lectures, gurus, in trying to find, who am I? Why am I here? Why do I have this breath of life, connecting to Allah? What is my purpose? And so through all the catalysts of all the afflictions, so even if this time of year is difficult for you, it's a really good time to just pause and reflect and seek in here and say, why am I being afflicted? What is this really about? Because I can guarantee, based upon my summation of my journey, it has nothing to do with the external. It has nothing to do with your family. It doesn't have anything to do with the world. It doesn't have anything to do with the pandemic. It has nothing to do with the political leaders that are running these things and running the show. It has everything to do with you, everything to do with finding who you really are. And you can never find it by seeking externally. I tried.
Right. Well, Brian, you got anything to share before I share this story with all of us and our viewers?
No. Yeah, there's nothing that I could add to this. I mean, I do is, but everybody's explaining it pretty well. So
Okay, so I've seen this story go around, like I said, during this time of year. I've seen it before. It just really touched me deeper this year. So I'm going to read through it. I'm going to try to read through it without just totally having the water faucets turned on. But there was this blue collar worker who did not earn a lot of wages, but he had went into this women's clothing store one evening during the week of Christmas to purchase this coat that his wife had been eyeing for the whole year. And so he was heading to the cashier register with this coat that his wife had looked through the windows the whole year, and was going to purchase it for her. And then this little boy comes up to him right before at the register, says, "Excuse me, mister." He goes, "Can you help me?" And the gentleman said, "Yeah, I can help you. What do you need?" He says, "Can you tell me how much something costs? It's almost Christmas and the nights are getting cold. Wintertime is on us and my mom doesn't have a coat. I've been working for the neighbors and saving for a time." And then he goes, "But I only have $1.10 in his extra hands. How much is this coat?" And The gentleman who was holding the coat to purchase for his wife literally had to turn away from him. And then he cleared away the lump in his throat. And then he said, well, little man, you're not going to believe this, but that's exactly what this coat costs. We're lucky we found this one for $1.10. He turned around, gave a wink to the cashier. She put the pretty box, wrapped it all up, and went off in the back, found a big red Christmas bow, and said, the little kid said, thank you, sir. And I kindly thank you, ma'am. I hope you all have a big Christmas, because now I know I am. So the boy was all excited about giving his mom a coat. Well, it continues on. Well, the man who had was there to purchase the coat for his wife was now leaving the store empty-handed, except for the dollar and a dime. So he says, well, I don't have enough money to buy that coat for my wife. So what's stuff to buy that coat another time? So he comes home, tells his wife that Christmas this year wouldn't be much fun. And he gently took her in his arms and told her what he had done. She responded with, why, you old softy, I would trade you for a farm, and I've got 2 or 3 old coats and your love to keep me warm. She put that money in a matchbox and placed it beneath their tree and said, that is the greatest gift you've ever given me. So it continues on. Years went by, like years do. And this couple had a very strong marriage. It was forged by, love. And then one day came some bitter news that filled the husband's heart with fright. The doctor told that his wife was losing her sight. And there's an operation we can do, but it puts me on the spot because it's quite complex procedure and it costs a lot. So, and we don't have the money for that kind of operation. So the doctor got the strangest look, and he sat there for a while, and then he slowly nodded and he broke out in a smile and he said, why, sir, you can't fool me. You're a very wealthy man. You long ago invested in the world's best savings plan. I'll see she gets the best of care. She's going to be just fine. And the total cost to you, old friend, is $1 and a dime. The old man stared in disbelief that he recognized that smile, the one he had seen those years ago in a loving, thoughtful child. The boy said, who's now a doctor, said, what you gave me that day was more than just a coat. You gave the gift of giving. And you gave my mother hope. My mother had been mistreated, neglected, and abused, but she gave life just one more chance, and it was all because of you. Now, every year she takes that coat and lays it beneath our tree. It represents to us the things that Christmas ought to be. She says that when we leave this world for a better home someday, the only thing that we'll take with us is the memories of the lives that we touched. And that just to me summarizes how we get a chance individually to have that type of impact and to store that type of treasure up. And I truly believe that if we would turn internally and ask yourself this question. One of the things that I've been doing, like even when we were in Nashville, I'm like, why are all these people in this exact location at this exact moment? What does the universe have to share with me with these people? Like, why are they here at the exact moment that we are here? And it was amazing when you have that mindset. It's amazing the number of people that you meet that have some type of connection of where you've lived, what you do, or about your life. And, so when you go through life, every day is I don't want to say a treasure hunt, but every day is the opportunity to find that treasure in the moment. And I'm not talking about commercial treasure. I'm talking about treasure of the heart. And I think this time of year, I know for me, everybody who's been watching Keto Rocks Radio and participating over the last year and a half. You guys have sowed seeds in me, and I have so much love for you all. And just the love that's been showered to Peggy and I has been very touching. And it has nothing to do with material gifts. It just has to do with that gift from the heart. So I'm just going to tell everybody, I give you my love. I hope you can feel that resonating in your heart. And I hope you and your family are able to experience the true meaning of this season and the true meaning of every breath that you get a chance to take, and realize just how powerful you are, and that every day you get a chance to make a deposit into a savings plan that's never going to go dry. So Merry Christmas, everybody, from a true heart filled full of love to you guys. Hey, I got through it. Whew. All right, it's that time of the evening where we get a chance to check into Mr. Brian Shanker's MeatTribe YouTube channel for those meat deals of the week. And since tonight is Christmas Eve, what kind of deals do you have us going through the holidays? We got Christmas and we got New Year. So what we got there, Brian?
All right, we've got a lot of good deals still from some are spilling over from last week. First up, Carnes. Their deals run through the 27th, and they've got some choice grade boneless sirloin tip roasts, steaks, or London broils for $4.99 per pound. And they've also got some choice grade boneless, whole boneless sirloin tips for $4.49 a pound. So you'll need to cut that down yourself. Food Lion, they've got a deal running through the 28th of December. They've got choice grade bone-in standing rib roast for $5.99 per pound. It does say limit one per household. I don't know if that means they're able to track you or not, and you can go separate shopping trips and get more than one, but that's what it says. So if somebody out there tries to get more than one and they're successful, let us know. And Harris Teeter, the longest running sale of rib roasts going forever now this is through Christmas Eve, the 24th. So by the time some of you may hear this deal may be over, but they've got their rancher grade and choice grade bone-in rib roast, standing rib roast or steaks for $7.99 for the rancher grade and $8.99 for the choice grade. And then they've also got the choice grade boneless chuck eye steak for $5.99. I still haven't made it down to the Harris Teeter to pick that up. Hopefully. So
listen, let me just recommend it. If you're watching this and you're hearing that deal that expires tonight, what you need to do is just go online and purchase it right now, and just go pick it up later, whether it's tonight or pick it up tomorrow. But pay for it, get that deal tonight.
Yeah, you won't be unhappy with what you get there for sure. All right, Kroger, they have a deal running through the 28th of December. It's a choice grade bone-in ribeye roast, so a standing rib roast. People, these terms get used through, interchangeably. Ribeye roast, prime rib. Prime rib doesn't necessarily mean that it's prime grade, so don't confuse yourself. It's prime rib is referred to as a ribeye roast or a standing rib roast. For Kroger's deal, you have to spend $25. And you, as a bonus, get 2 times the fuel rewards. And their deal is for $7.99 per pound, and it is a limit one as well. And then Weiss, their deal runs through the 26th of December. They've got a bone-in standing rib roast. You got to use 200 Weiss reward points, and it's $6.99 per pound. And then they've got 2 boneless options. So the boneless Weiss Naturals grass-fed ribeye, and you have to use the 200 Weiss reward points, $6.99 per pound, and a boneless Weiss Naturals grass-fed ribeye roast. You'll have to use the 200 Weiss reward points, also $6.99 per pound. And then Giant, they have their deal going through the 25th of December, choice grade bone-in rib roast, $25 required purchase to get the sale price, $5.99 per pound, and limit to 1. And then the choice grade boneless New York strip roast, also $25 purchase requirement to get the sale price at $5.77 per pound, limit 1. I think you bought some of those, didn't you? Right before you went on vacation.
I did. And I'm having one tonight. Actually, I'm having a 3-bone prime rib tonight.
Awesome. And how are you cooking that?
I'm going to do a reverse sear. I mean, Brian's reverse sear is just, it comes out perfectly the way I like it throughout. So I'm probably going to go the reverse sear.
Okay, so just explain that real quick for people that don't know what that means, if you don't mind.
No problem. So I'm gonna stick it into the oven, and I'm gonna slow roast it at about 225 until the internal temperature gets to about 120. Gonna pull it out. Gonna crank the oven till, in my oven, 475. Going to wrap it back up, put it back in there for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Bring it up to about 125, 130, however long it takes to do that, just to give it a good bark, a good crust, and seal those juices inside. Pull it out and ready to dive right in. And one of the things that I used to do, I used to wait after I pull it out the second time. But Brian said, well, no, once you let it rest the first time, before you put it back into your oven, get to 475 or 500, it's already rested. So when you pull it out that time, you just go ahead and cut into it and then start enjoying it. So that's what I will be doing.
That last little bit there is a pretty good tip. I have heard that as well. Whenever I'm trying to do something new, I watch a ton of YouTube videos, and I did hear a couple of videos about people doing that time period between taking it out and getting your oven or your smoker up to a higher temp is enough rest time for the meat. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And then so I got one more deal.
Sure.
Safeway, their deal ends Christmas Eve. So again, by the time you see this, you have just enough time to get out there and get this deal. It is also a rib roast. You have to spend $50, and there's also a digital coupon online that you have to download, and that's for $5.99 per pound. So if Safeway is the only store you have around, you can still get something really good there as well. So those are all the deals that I have. But if you got a minute or two, I wanted to bring up, last week I said I was going to do some, my next smoking project was going to be some ribs. I ended up not doing any ribs, but I did do a Boston butt, my first Boston butt, and did some pulled pork. And I smoked it. It took longer than I thought. Of course, whenever I go to smoke something, it seems to be really cold and windy outside, which sucks the heat right out of the smoker and makes you have to cook it longer. But no pun intended, that thing came out so good. I only used mustard as a binder on it and used some Blues Hog sweet and savory rub. And just I cooked it, wrapped it, smoked it, wrapped it, put it back in for a little while longer and took it out. And boy, most of it just fell apart. It just crumbled in my hands. Interestingly, though, there was one section across the top and kind of in the middle next to the bone. I did do a bone in that was really, really tough. So a section maybe about 2 to 3 inches wide and about maybe 3 to 4 inches deep. I'm not real familiar with that cut of pork. So I don't know if maybe why that section came out tough or not.
Well, let me ask you, so what was the temperature on your smoker and how long did you have to smoke it for, and what did you smoke it to?
So I started out smoking it at 225, but with the wind and the cold, it'll drop down to 175. It'll get up to 250, 275. And so in some cases I would, when it was prolonged time down lower, I did bump it up to 300, try to help maintain that 250 average. So the initial smoke was until it reached 160, and then I pulled it out and wrapped it in tin foil and then put it back in, and I played with the temperature again, varying it from 250 to 300 to 350 even near the end there, until it reached 190. And then I pulled it out at 190 and let it rest for 30 minutes. And then that's when I, after it rested, it was still really hot. Was pulling it apart, shredding it with a fork and my hands, really. Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, that bone just really retains that heat. And so it's still cooking that meat that's right there attached to the bone.
Okay.
And so, that's the only reason I can think of. But man, congratulations on nailing it. I mean, when it starts to fall off the bone and it's that moist as you're, picking it or shredding it with your fork, that makes for a good feast.
And we're still eating leftovers, still have some left. And I just heat the leftovers up. I put it on a plate in the microwave, cover it with a damp paper towel, and I cook it for 1.5 minutes on 60% power. And it's still like, I don't have to add water to keep it moist or anything. The juices are still just right in that meat. I was super, super happy.
Awesome. And that's a good buy, because what did that butt cost you? I mean,
$1.94 per pound. It was 5.88 pounds. It cost $11.40 and fed my family for a week almost.
Yeah. So there's great deals out there if you guys are looking for them, that, you still be able to eat meat and yet feed a family of 4 for a week. So yeah, it's a great buy. So don't overlook those butts out there, because they can feed a lot of people.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Brian, how are you spending your Christmas Eve before we let you off here?
I'm going to take the kids up to see my mom on for a little bit, and then Christmas Day is we take the Christmas Story route, and we get Chinese food takeout. We don't go to the restaurant. We get Chinese takeout. We just fill ourselves up with Chinese food all day long, and just relax, watch Christmas movies. How about you guys?
I was going to say, no, we'll just hang out with family here on the property, and I know I'm having a 3-bone prime rib this evening for Christmas Eve, but we'll probably have a ham or ham and eggs tomorrow. I know we got a ham that'll be cooking, so just hanging out, enjoying family, and spending time with the ones we love. So it's a great time of year to be able to enjoy those really important people in your life.
So true.
So anyway, well, listen, to you and your family, Brian, Merry Christmas, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Same to you guys.
Merry Christmas. All right, take care, everybody. All right, what do you have to share, Carrie? Then I'll let Brian share whatever he wants to do to end this Christmas Eve episode, and then we'll wrap it up and let people start to enjoy their Christmas Eve with their loved ones.
Well, what I wanted to add was about the birth of Christ. If I can share a little bit more through Aramaic, I would love that, as it's obviously my heart's love language, and I want to be able to share my heart with other people.
Please.
The word for Christ is Mashiach. And at this time of year, when we're looking at us being the light of the world, because the light came into the world and showed us how to walk in the light, Mashiach is a beautiful word because in its root, it means a measurement of oil. So if you want to think about the lamps, about us being the lamps, the light of the world, if you want to consider that with the wise versions that fill their lamp with oil, that's literally the root word for Mashiach. It's Mashach, it's measurement of oil. There's another word that's Mashachach, and it's a measurement of oil that has a cough in the middle, which means grasping a hold of the power of the oil within. And it means to be able. So every single one of us have that ability to grasp the power that lies right within here, so that our mouth can begin to speak words that are going to edify and lift everyone up at this time of time of life, to give them oil. I got ahead of myself on there, because the oil is within here. So you can give of your oil by saying a kind word, giving something that is going to lift somebody, and give them of your lamp oil, because we have more than enough. Mashiach, when it comes into the fullness of it, you take the mashach, the measurement of oil, and then a little yod gets placed right in the middle with an aleph on the end of the word. And what this does is it transforms this word into just not being something that's static, that we have oil. It means that your heart has been fully illuminated. The power has been fully made manifest within you, so that you have the ability to give it to others. And when it ends with the aleph, it means those who have walked into that light, into the Mashiach, into the Christ anointing, not only found the power within, that they want to give this seed to you. They want to give you this vision. They walk in the power of being united with the all of everything. So when they come in contact with you, they see themselves in you and they see you in themselves. And this is really the beautiful gift that we can give to each other on Christmas Day, is to be able to see the light and the love of the one infinite creator in every single person that we come across, whether it's a homeless person or the gas station attendant, the clerk at the grocery store, your grandmother, brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, cousins, and begin to really honor the Mashika, the Christ that is within them, because that's really what the 25th is about. It's about the light of the world coming from the dark place and beginning its scent into illuminating the world again, one person at a time, from the place of the heart. So for me, to everyone, to you, may the Mashika be made manifest. Shalom Aleichem. May the peace that goes beyond all understanding be manifest in you, so that you become complete within and manifest it without, as we grasp a hold of the power that we all have while we are walking in this gift of the flesh through the breath of life.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank
Namaste.
you. Thank you. Ryan, how you want to close us out? What do you want to share?
Wow, how can I follow that?
That's a great
Brian,
point.
I love you. I love you. And I know sometimes I share things and into the Aramaic language, but you shine brightly all by itself. Like, you don't have to say anything. Your music and what you do is light to the world. When you get into playing and you get into that place where you connect to your heart and your fingers go across the strings and you sing your song, you shine so brightly for everyone. So words aren't necessary. You are doing exactly what you came to be, the light to the world, to share that with those that follow the groups that you are in, the music that you play, and you do it brilliantly. So know that you shine very brightly, and I'm honored to have met you.
Thanks.
Phew,
Yeah, I try to keep that perspective myself, especially when it comes to music. That's another gift that I was meant to share with people, and through that, I can share inspiration and love and all that stuff. So
It's your heart song. It's your heart song, and I see that in you. So I just wanted to make sure that I honored that spark of life that you carry, because you do it very well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Thank you
love
for
you both. I love you both so much.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. We love you, but you just said that so eloquently and so beautifully, um, and that's a great segue. That everybody has that gift, and it may be something. It may be something as simple as you drive a school bus and pick up kids every day, but for them to see you every day and a smile on your face, and you get a chance to breathe life and share love to every child that walks on that bus, that may be your gift. That may be your heart song, your heart language. And so Brian's is the passion of him playing guitar, and he his light shines bright and the impact that he has. But if you're watching this and you're a school teacher or a bus driver or a janitor, we all have gifts. I tell you, some of the people who have touched me the most has been people who are janitors that work at a hotel, and their heart shines through the label that they've been given as a job or position. Their heart's so much bigger and so much more valuable than what they're getting paid for the job that they're doing. So I think you said it very, very well, Carrie.
Thank you.
And with that being said, Brian, during this time of year, what's the one bit of advice that you give everybody when they time to go eat a meal? What would you suggest they eat so they can maximize that gift?
I would say eat your meat.
Perfect. Well, listen, everybody, it's been a pleasure to be with you on this Christmas Eve. So appreciative of Carrie and Brian for joining us on this episode, and just literally, let your light shine bright and look for the light in others, and enjoy
Yes.
this time of the season. And we'll see you guys next time or next week or next year, whatever that's going to be. So take care,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jim. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice seeing you again.
Namaste. Bye.